Hello, welcome back. This is one of my favorite parts of this devotion, which you will see this painting right here, and on the bottom it says, "Jesus, I trust in you." This was written on February 22nd, 1931. In the evening when I was in my cell, I saw the Lord Jesus clothed in a white garment. One hand was raised in the gesture of a blessing, the other was touching the garment at the breast. From beneath the garment, slightly drawn aside at the breast, there were emanating two large rays, one red and the other pale. In silence, I kept my gaze fixed on the Lord. My soul was struck with awe, but also with great joy. After a while, Jesus said to me, "Paint an image according to the pattern you see." With the signature, "Jesus, I trust in you." I desired that this image be venerated, first in your chapel, and then throughout the world. I promise that the soul that will venerate this image will not perish. I also promise victory over its enemies already here on earth, especially at the hour of death. I myself will defend it as my own glory. When I told this to my confessor, I received this for a reply. "That refers to your soul," he told me. "Certainly paint God's image in your soul." When I came out of the confessional, I again heard these words. "My image already is in your soul." I desire that there be a feast of mercy. I want this image, which you will paint with a brush, to be solemnly blessed on the first Sunday after Easter. That Sunday is to be the Feast of Mercy. I desire that priests proclaim this great mercy of mine toward souls of sinners. Let the sinner not be afraid to approach me. The flames of mercy are burning me, clamoring to be spent. I want to pour them out upon these souls. Jesus complained to me in these words. Distrust on the part of souls is tearing at my insides. The distrust of a chosen soul causes me even greater pain. Despite my inexhaustible love for them, they do not trust me. Even my death is not enough for them. Woe to the soul that abuses these gifts. When I spoke about this to Mother Superior, that God had asked me to do this, she answered that Jesus should give some signs so that we could recognize him more clearly. When I asked the Lord Jesus for a sign as a proof that you are truly my God and Lord and that this request comes from you, I heard this interior voice. I will make all this clear to the Superior by means of the graces which I will grant through this image. When I tried to run away from these interior inspirations, God said to me that on the day of judgment, he would demand of me a great number of souls. Once, exhausted because of these various difficulties that I had befallen me because of what Jesus had said to me and what he had demanded of me for this painting of this image, I made up my mind to approach Father Andreas before my perpetual vows and to ask him to dispense me from all these interior inspirations and from the duty of painting this image. After having heard my confession, Father Andreas gave me this answer. I will disperse you from nothing, sister. It is not right for you to turn away from these interior inspirations, but you must absolutely, and I say absolutely, speak about them to your confessor, otherwise you will go astray, despite the great graces you are receiving from God. For the present you are coming to me for confession, but understand, sister, that you must have a permanent confessor, that is to say, a spiritual director. I was very upset by this. I thought that I would get myself free from everything, and it turned out quite the opposite. An explicit command to follow the requests of Jesus. And now, still another torment, as I had no permanent confessor. Even if I went to the same confessor for a certain period of time, I could not open my soul to him in respect to these graces, and this caused me ineffable pain. So I asked Jesus to give these graces to someone else, because I did not know how to make use of them, and was only wasting them. Jesus, have mercy on me. Do not entrust such great things to me, as you see that I am a bit of dust and completely inept. But the goodness of Jesus is infinite, and he had promised me visible help here on earth. And a little while later I received it, in the person of Father Sopoćko. I had already known him before coming to Vilnius, thanks to an interior vision. One day I saw him in our chapel between the altar and the confessional, and suddenly heard a voice in my soul say, "This is visible help for you on earth. He will help you carry out my will on earth." One day, tired out with all these uncertainties, I asked Jesus, "Jesus, you are my God, or some kind of, are you some," okay, sorry. One day, tired out with all these uncertainties, I asked Jesus, "Jesus, are you my God, or some kind of phantom? Because my superiors say that there are all sorts of illusions and phantoms. If you are my Lord, I beg you to bless me." Then Jesus made a big sign of the cross over me, and I, too, signed myself. When I asked pardon of Jesus for this question, he replied that I had in no way displeased him by this question, and that my confidence pleased him very much. Spiritual counsel given to me by Father Andreas. First, you must not turn away from these interior inspirations, but always tell everything to your confessor. If you recognize that these interior inspirations refer to your own self, that is to say, they are for the good of your soul or for the good of other souls, I urge you to follow them. And you must not neglect them, but always do so in consultation with your confessor. Second, if these inspirations are not in accord with the faith or the spirit of the Church, they must be rejected immediately as coming from the evil spirit. Third, if these inspirations do not refer to souls in general, nor specifically to their good, you should not take them too seriously, and it would be better to even ignore them. But you should not make this decision by yourself, either one way or the other, as you can easily be led astray despite these great grace favors from God. Humility, humility, and ever humility, as we can do nothing ourselves. All is purely and simply God's grace. You say to me that God demands great trust from souls. Well then, you be the first to show this trust. As one more word, accept all this with serenity. Words of one of the confessors, Sister, God is preparing many graces for you, but try to make your life as clear as crystal before the Lord, paying no attention to what anyone else thinks about you. Let God suffice you, He alone.